boom, bing, bing,
Boom.
bing.
Boom. Hello. Oh, just over here chillaxing, creating the new earth, getting into a little mental imagery and embodiment of what the world I stand upon vibrates at. And I'm super excited to share some techniques on how to do that for everybody, or at least bring in the idea of did you even know that you're either creating a new earth or you're attaching yourself to the old third density earth that we currently are watching fall and crumble around us.
Well, I only know from talking to you about that stuff. So, so what do you mean by new earth? What does that even mean?
All right. So, everybody, welcome to another episode. I think it's like 22, 3 or 4, one of those.
We'll celebrate on the 10s, 30, 40. We'll just keep rocking.
Yeah. We'll keep them rocking. We are the Diesel Daddies. My name's Joshua Long, Jay Resla, Diesel Daddy Dollins over here.
Bang, bang.
Man, he is one sexy looking dude, I mean, golly, I am so lucky I just get to sit next to you every day.
Oh, I know. If I don't have a face you can sit on, I don't know what else you could possibly sit on.
That's right. That's right.
Cushion. So
what we're going to get into today, now we've been talking over multiple podcasts now about the understanding of quantum physics, okay, and the understanding of what the field is, right, and that we're all made of this field, and the earth and all the planets and the plant life and the animals and the sea and the oceans and everything in all of existence is all connected in this one field, this one being, right? That's what we are. So we're going through this graduation, right? And in this graduation, Earth, which is a live being, we are the body of Earth, right? We are the inside of Earth expressed in the outside of Earth. So imagine we have our own bodies, right? And everything we see outside of us, right, is just a reflection of our insides. Well, it's the same for the Earth, right? The inner Earth, right? The energy and frequency of the inner Earth reflects on the outer Earth, on the crust, and in the experience within the atmosphere and the land, right? And so we are interconnected with the Earth. We have the same body. Our body is the Earth's body. That's why it's so important, like when we're eating the right foods and we're gardening the right way, right? And everything is harmonious and organic, right? We're both in tune with the one body that we actually are. And so Earth is going through her ascension journey, and she is graduating from the third density to the fourth density. And so there's a fourth density graduation window that really is like closing. It's been open. We've all been in it, and now it's closing. And so what's important to know is that in this graduation window, maybe you've ever heard of the phrase going through the eye of the needle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you ever heard on that thing is a country song. He says, you can't fit a cow through the eye of a needle.
Country song?
Yeah, it's a country song.
That's a Bible verse.
Well, it's also in a country song.
What?
Yeah. I'll find it and we'll bring it on the next podcast and play it just so I can prove a point.
I'll type it up and just see what it is. I'll see who sings that.
Yeah. And so, while we're going through this eye of the needle or this graduation window, basically, I kind of relate it like how the Bible talks about the rapture, right? And there's like this time period to where you have this realization of something grander than what you thought was, and now you have an opportunity in this time period, right, to make the right choices, to have the right thoughts, to be the right way, to basically cultivate your vibrational frequency in a much more loving manner, peaceful manner, which is a higher vibrational frequency. And so what it is important to know that in this graduation window, okay, we have the choice to align with whichever Earth we wish to be a part of. And so you have a third density Earth planet, which is its own physical planet that people are on, right? That's going to be really involved around egoic personalities, attachments, judgments. It's going to be a real big state of separateness. So you're going to see a lot of suffering, right? You're going to see a lot of torment, torture. You're going to see domination, one people over another people, right? You're going to see massacres, murder, war, right? And a lot of people might say, well, Josh, that's what we're seeing right now. Okay, well, this is what I'm here to bring you today, is some information to help you put your feet physically in the right earth, right? Which is the fourth density earth, the density of love. So earth is transitioning from third density to fourth density, but while we're in this window and understanding quantum physics, that all things are happening simultaneously, what that means is that everyone here, which we think is on the same earth, is actually on different earths, right? Mm-hmm. And so based off of your actions, thoughts, and deeds, and your vibrational frequency, the choice of foods you eat, the choice of words you speak, right? All of these things are going to accumulate into your vibrational frequency. And whatever vibrational frequency you are, if it falls below 400 hertz, right? Love frequency is at 400 hertz, 400 to 420, right? If your frequency falls below that, maybe you're just neutral, accepting, or willing, but you still have issues with pride, you still have jealousy, you still have judgment, you still hold anger, you still hold separation in your heart. Well, then you're resonating at the third density Earth planet. And when these two planets finalize their separation from each other, right, you will still be on this planet, which will essentially end up in destruction, more than likely. We'll either blow ourselves up, or AI technology is going to take over in a real negative way, right? And so what we're here to tell you today is that you have the option to choose which earth you wish to be on. And if you want to graduate into a world of abundance, a world of 1,000 years of golden age civilization, a world that turns into an interstellar civilization and populates the entire solar system and beyond, a world where every mouth is fed, every mouth has all the energy that they need to survive, create, and grow at will, right? If you wish to be on that earth, well, then you must resonate at least love, which is 400 hertz. Now, not only do you have to resonate at this love frequency of 400 hertz, you have to let go and stop projecting any vibrational frequency that falls below that.
So, watching the podcast with Joe Rogan and Billy Carson, you said something about a golden age before, and they were talking about, which I kind of agree with, that like how we have these ancient tablets and writings and massive structures that like the pyramids and stuff like that there was probably a golden age back then. There's a reason they had the time to dedicate so much time to these structures and stuff like that. So was there a golden age back then?
I would say, so it's a slightly different than what this golden age is going to be, because that time period...
Let me add another question to that real quick. What density would that have been in? You know, because I don't think we can go back. So that could have been like a third or density golden age.
Yeah. So realize that there's an Earth on every density plane right now. There is a Nick Dollins on every density frequency right now. There is a Josh, a Dylan, Rufus. There is on every single density planet. And so during that time period, okay, they were given the knowledge and information which allowed them to have the abundance of the golden age, but they had technologically advanced faster than they did spiritually. And so since it was an unbalanced transition of gaining so much knowledge and technology, that they actually ended up destroying themselves. And so what we're going through right now with our elites hiding 300 years of technology from us, right, and only using it to their advantage, well, they're utilizing it to make weapons of war, nuclear bombs, and different things that can affect the fabric of life. And so kind of same thing happened back then, but here's the difference between now and then. Now our spiritual evolution is leveling out with the acceleration of technology. And so we're not just a bunch of children running around with nukes, although it may look like that right now.
Definitely looks like that.
We have the capability to take this technology and utilize it for the entire civilization our entire planetary sphere, and all of our galaxy, and even beyond, to thrive into this golden age civilization. And so you were asking me again, was it kind of like the same back then? They also, at that time period, had what's called a graduation window, like we are in now. When I was spending 19 incarnations throughout the Atlantean time period, and some of my incarnations, there was this graduation window, and I was one of the fortunate ones to be able to graduate into the fourth density at that time. Now, just like now, then there was a split of planets, and so there was still a third density Earth planet that we were all, a lot of our souls were trapped on and continuously incarnating on. And so over thousands of years, fast forward into now, we're finally spiritually advanced enough to be able to have another graduation window opportunity to where they're able to harvest more souls into the higher density of love. And what we're doing right now is as we raise our vibrational consciousness, we're forming what's called social memory complexes. And so all of your friends and family and people that vibrate at the same frequency, and maybe in your life some people are being ripped away, some people are disappearing, but then you're also going to realize that random people are showing up, or you're moving into new places and making new friends, right? And so these social memory complexes are starting to migrate towards each other and away from each other according to their vibrational frequency. And so what I'm here to offer everyone is these ideas of how to act, how to think, how to feel, and how to do in order to align your vibrational frequency high enough to have the opportunity to graduate into this absolute beautifully abundant experience. And this experience can happen just like that. And so that's kind of same things between time periods, but then we were just technologically advanced and not spiritually advanced. Now we have the technology that's advanced, and we're spiritually evolving and leveling out the playing field between the two. You have to evolve the two at the same time in order for it to successfully work into the higher vibrational frequency planetary spheres.
I feel like there's a high risk for a repeat in history, though, because I feel like
well, there will be.
Most of the world isn't spiritually advanced
enough.
That's
what I'm saying.
That are in control of the technology, though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Is there is absolutely an Earth with that experience happening right now. Mm-hmm. Now, some may say, well, we're here and we're watching it, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. Although it may look like you're here watching and being on that physical planet, you're not. I'm not here on third density Earth where it's going into self-destruction and the elites are trying to take over and they're trying to completely destroy our monetary system to crumble the blue class. And so there's this massive gap between the rich and the poor. I'm not on that Earth. And some people might look at me and go, well, you're fucking crazy. And I'm going to go, well, maybe I am, or maybe you are. And you just don't realize how to vibrate at a frequency to plant yourself firmly in the world that's abundant, that's loving, right? Just because someone else out there is suffering and going through what may seem like hell on earth does not mean that you can't simultaneously go through heaven on earth.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see a lot of suffering in my life right now at all, anywhere where I look. I mean, not like I used to.
At all.
And not just me personally, I just mean like around me.
Mm-hmm.
All my friends are not suffering. Even though Dylan over here smells like sour cream, I feel like I'm suffering a little bit. Daggum, what would you do?
Oh yeah.
You smell him?
It looks like he's been out in the sun all day.
I was eating sour
He's
cream.
been running around with Luca. You got to hold that mic right up to your mouth.
Yeah.
Say hello, Dylan.
Hello.
There we go.
I was in fact eating sour cream chips.
Man, they are radiating off of you.
Just it'd be the lack of deodorant.
So you can't see Dylan, but he's six. Scoot over there to your left.
Come
your
over
left.
Behind me. Look at this
He's-
giant ogre of
He's
a man.
6'7", 300 pounds, probably like 290 now. He's looking like he's losing a little bit of weight. We've been on this journey. One of the things that you do in this planet to raise your vibrational frequency is to put your body in the absolute best shape that you can possibly do. Now, for a lot of us that are like in their mid-30s, 40s, right, we've gone through these ebb and flows of being in fantastic shape and then getting just shit fat, and then back into fantastic shape and shit fat. And so, we're all on this journey right now to get back in the best shape ever, because a high vibrational frequency body looks beautiful. It looks like a God's body. It has curvature. It has definition. It's healthy. It's vibrant. It's glowing. And one of the things that we'll notice, and people will notice, as we continue to move higher into these octaves of the fourth density Earth, the people that are the highest frequency will actually look like they're glowing like angels. It will almost be blinding to the eye of a third density person or someone that resonates at third density. They almost will not even be able to be in the vicinity or the field. And sometimes you catch this with people that, like, I might go into a room and there might just be someone that just can't even stand to look at me. Right? And a lot of people are like, well, Josh is one of the fucking nicest guys in the world. Well, that's because my frequency is so high that their lower frequency is just bringing things up within their egoic consciousness that's causing them to trigger and trip over their mind and cause them to react and do things from an emotional standpoint. Right? And so another thing you'll see with the fourth density beings that are on this planet, or people that are resonating at fourth density Earth, you'll just notice that they always have things provided for them from the universe. Like, they give no effort, and it just happens to show up. The next thing that they're like, yeah, this is what's happening. And, like, it may look like they're not doing anything, but then all of a sudden, boom, it's just in their reality. They don't have to put effort towards doing things because they've realized in their higher frequency it's all about vibration. And so I need do nothing. All I need to do is be the highest frequency that I already am. And so those are just some kind of things that you'll see in people that are in the fourth density Earth versus the people that are in the third density Earth that always think everything's out to get them and they just can't catch a break and life's not fair, right? And it's very noticeable to see the two different classes or vibrational frequencies of people. And so how can it be that both entities are in the same experience or the same Earth, but experiencing completely different outcomes? Well, that's because you can't live outside of God's law, universal law, all right? And so if you're low vibrational frequency, you're going to be on the Earth that provides suffering, separation, torment, and low vibrational experiences. If you're a high vibrational being of love and peace and you can let go of judgment and attachment, well, then you're in now just instantaneously. And what's crazy is in one moment, my vibrational frequency can drop and I can be in third density Earth. And then in another second, my vibrational frequency can be high and I could be in fourth density Earth. And where a lot of us are is we're playing this hopscotch game. I'm doing good, I'm high vibrational, and then I just fucking flatline, you know, and it's just like someone sticks a dagger in me, you know, and then it's like, oh, I'm back over here, but then I make another choice, and I'm fucking, for a couple days, my vibrational frequency just isn't right, you know, and where I'm at right now, for me in my own personal journey, I understand and comprehend and experience the vibrational frequency after every word and choice, decision and action I make. You know, and we can get intimately into some more of those as we get along in this, but we are in an opportunity to choose which Earth we wish to be in. And if you want to continue to suffer, if you want life to be a struggle, if you want relationships to never be harmonious, if you wish to be poor and broke and never be able to attain anything or achieve any goals in your life, well, just realize that if that sensation is happening, that's the telltale sign that you're firmly planted in third density Earth.
Well, how does somebody get out of that? Because nobody wants to suffer. You know?
Exactly.
And so even though people may be doing the actions...
Dylan likes to suffer.
Teacher, call on me. Nick, to give my own answer to what you just asked, I believe it's a choice. Because in my own day-to-day, there was a perfect example of this. I recently have removed myself from a situation that was disguised as an opportunity, but really was something dragging me down, right? And I've totally removed myself.
Talking about your last work experience?
Yeah, my last work experience, right? I've removed myself from that. I've not engaged in it. But a friend of mine is still involved in that on the day-to-day, and I took the time to speak with him at the end of the day about it, and he sort of just unleashing of all the feelings he has and the things he's discovered, and he's 100% right about the nature of these experiences. But what I realized is his experience moving me back to my time in it was sort of infectious, and that energy and that vibe carried throughout the rest of my day. Whereas earlier in the day, I was with my son, we're at Spring Creek, we're hanging out, we're having a great time. And I stepped back into that world and I engaged that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And now here I am just feeling all vexed and mocused from that experience because I chose to re-engage with that and put myself back into the feelings and the experience I had in that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why they say that like you'll be the middle of your top 5 friends, because I think
you're the average
you're
of
the average of
the
your,
closest 5 people around you.
and that's why they say to be careful who you choose at being a friend, because those frequencies always align. Whether you're reaching up and going and you're forcing yourself to be around higher frequency people, more successful people, whatever, you will eventually become that. But it is impossible to be around low existing frequency people and constantly stay above them. You'll some part of you will just be dragged down. Maybe not all the way there, but
well, it's not that you're
around,
dragging down, it's you're choosing to tune into specific frequency. And so that is you. It's not Dylan, it's not Dollins, it's not Trenton, it's not anybody else. It's only me reflecting in these images of people that are projecting back to me my internal vibration. But something important to talk about what Dylan's talking about with his work, and because him and I have worked together through the cannabis industry in multiple habits, and so one of the things that I was able to observe in Dylan's track record of working at these places, right, is it always seemed to be the same type of characters, the same type of happenings, the same type of shit responses, and then after about 6 months to a year, it falls off in the end in the exact same way. Now, along the way of that process, Dylan and I, we work hand in hand through our ascension as well. And so we can say things to each other that, to help bring light to the situation and understanding. One of the things that Dylan had gone through was vocalizing to himself, oh, dude, they're always fucking like this, and it's the same old shit, and it's this, that, and the other, right? And he would kind of get into these habitual patterns of saying these things about the situation. And then sure enough, that motherfucker experience would roll out to a T exactly how he said it. And then he would get out of the cannabis industry. We'd both, because we'd like work together in that industry, we'd both get out. And then there would be this time period in between to where like our vibrational frequency lives, because no longer are we sitting there repeating thoughts about how shitty the investors are, or how they always run out of money, or how they ask us for all the information in the world and then they want to just cut all the corners, right? We would say these things out loud, and simultaneously we're watching them. But what we finally come to realize is what we're watching is the words we're speaking. It's not them acting it out. It's us creating them in that image, projecting back to us what our inner vibration is. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
And so this is a really good telltale sign. Maybe in your life you've moved from one job to the next job to the next job to the next job. The things to observe is what is my mental capacity and state of emotion while I'm there? What are the things that I'm saying? Am I reinforcing the negativity of my boss? Oh, my boss sucks. He's always on my ass. He always grinds me because I'm always late, right? Well, what's happening is they're not doing that. It's just reflecting the words you're creating, right? And so the first step is to just realize that, oh, wait a second. I am creating everything that's happening to me. This situation I just went through with this last grow company, and everything that happened in there wasn't their fault. It was my fault. I take responsibility as the creator of my world that, yeah, I didn't force their hand to do that, but my vibrational frequency is which gave creation and life to that. So now that I realize that, right, I can let it go. And what does it mean to let it go? And you ask me, well, how does someone move out of the third density earth? Well, you have to let it go, right? And to let something go simply means stop thinking about it. Don't let one word come into your mind that reinforces any of the story that you continue to tell yourself about the people or types of people in the industry or types of industry, and don't give meaning to it through your emotion while you speak. And so You just drop it. You silence the mind. That's the first step. And we talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Step number 1 in ascension. Step number 1 in letting go of third density earth and planting yourself firmly in fourth density earth. Step number 1 in creating abundance. Step number 1 in balancing your emotional, energetic system. It all starts with silencing the mind. Okay? Once you silence that mind, you're going to need a time period of isolation and solitude. A lot of people will see this now as what's called a dark night of the soul, right? They feel lonely because once you let go of like what you think is external events like work or happenings to you, well, then you have to learn how to let go of the internal distortions, right? Because once you have nothing to blame out here, well, then the ego wants to turn inwards and start blaming everything in here. Right, and that's where people get tripped up, right, is they start getting in their own head and, oh, well, it was my fault, no, I just can't do it, and oh, maybe I should do this because I'm out of here, or I'm out of money, or I've got nowhere to go, or this, that, or the other, right? We start getting into our head, and that is just, it's the same frequency with different words. Mm-hmm. And so we're not changing the story or the happening because we continue to reinforce the negative lower vibrational frequency through the blame game, the finger pointing game. If I give reason to why something's happening, all that is me pointing a finger. Mm-hmm. 10 out of 10 times.
And we were talking about this a couple days ago when we were talking about doing this episode. We kept getting busy. The intention you set behind all your actions throughout the day. And I think that's a huge part, and not just doing the actions and faking, what earth you're creating, but the intention of what you're setting behind, what you're trying to do is what's going to create and manifest the earth that you want to be on. Mm-hmm. Because like let's just say like a reading, for instance, that can be just as bad for you as watching TV, depending on what you're reading.
What you're tuning into. No, you're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought this up, right? What we had specifically talked about was, okay, so first is silencing the mind. That's how you let go, right? The habitual, repetitive thought patterns that are over and over and over and over in your head. Let that go. Silence it. The second thing is, and this is what we talked about yesterday, identifying every pattern in your day, in your life, right? Okay, so I wake up and I smoke a bowl, or I wake up and I go to work and I work all day, and then I work out, and then I come home and I smoke a bowl, and then I hang out with my dogs, and then I go to bed, and then I wake up, and so right, I'm in this pattern, right? And so what I want to do is I want to break my day down and look at my patterns, and what I want to ask myself is, does this pattern, okay, and let's just get with me, right? I come home and I smoke a bowl instantly. Now, I don't smoke all day. I don't smoke when I work. I'm not high when I work, right? But when I get home, there's a sensation, an enjoyable sensation I get from smoking, right? And it's a pattern. I do it every day. Well, I have to look at this pattern, and I have to ask myself this very important question. What is the intention behind this pattern? Is there an intention behind this pattern? Because what I've come to realize is if you have a pattern, and we all do every day, so however manner that folds out, if it's an aimless pattern with no intention, then you're missing the mark. You're in a low vibrational frequency. Because to do any pattern, any habit, or any choice or decision without intention is a low frequency choice. Okay, so what I want to ask myself is okay, why am I smoking marijuana? Okay, and to be honest with you, the only answer I have is because, well, it's a pain reliever. It gives me kind of a second energy boost and a wind, right? But then I have to look at myself, okay, well, why do I need a second energy boost? Why am I winded? Why is my vibrational frequency not able to stand on its own without that support? Well, now I got to look at, okay, well, what am I eating? What are my eating patterns? Am I eating with intention? Or am I just shoving shit down my throat because I fucking love it? I love it.
Well, I think everybody.
And I'm addicted to it, right? And so, but there's no intention, right? And so that is an aimless pattern without intention, and it's a low frequency habit. And so this is something that I've realized and become aware of, but now it's like, okay, I'm just sitting here watching the body in motion, eating macaroni and cheese, eating fucking hamburgers, fucking Monsters, C4s, whatever it might be, Dr. Peppers, GMO. I'm going to eat good fruit today, but I bought it from Walmart, and it's all GMO. It's fucking poison, and so that can be a conundrum. That can be a real tricky spot when you get to that, because you're now aware, you now realize, you now understand, you're observing your patterns, you realize that this pattern has no intention, but why in my body just keep on doing it every day, right? And so another pattern, here's one, so we can identify all of our patterns through the day. Okay, so how do I change? How do I up my frequency, or how do I let go? Okay, well, this is what you do. You create new patterns, and you give intention to those patterns. And so, Nick, you talked about very specifically. You said, you know what, I'm going to get back to where I'm reading every day. Now, it is important what you read, what frequency of information you're reading is what you're absorbing, right? And so we read a lot of books on esoteric knowledge, on spiritual knowledge. We like to get into, quantum physics. We like to get into mindset. We like to get into athletic and the body and understanding the body, right? And so what I would do is, okay, I haven't been reading. I've made this decision right now. Right here in the present moment, I'm going to start reading every morning, and my intention behind it is to gain as much information and love as I can to share with the world. Now, that is a beautiful high vibrational frequency. And so starting today, first thing, with a present mind, right, and a silent mind, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to read, right? And maybe it's for 20 minutes, maybe it's for an hour. Okay, well, once I start doing that consistently, day after day after day after day, well, that now becomes a part of my vibrational frequency, and it begins to raise my frequency. The key is consistency in timing, and consistency in intent. Okay, when he hits the mics, we're making a bunch of noise on there, just so you know, I can hear you. And licking on the dog. Dylan's down here getting loved on by Rufus. And so, okay, here's another pattern, right? Creating, you know what, I'm going to start meditating. And some people don't like to use the word meditation. Maybe I'm just going to get present, silence my mind, and attune my focus towards all that is, which is inside of us, right? And so I create an idea in my head. I vocalize an intention of why it is that I'm going to make this choice, and then starting today, every day, I begin this pattern. Okay, now what happens is I add in one pattern with intent, and then I add in another pattern with intent, and then I add in another pattern with intent. And here's the beauty, right? I'm not getting rid of what I was doing. I'm just starting a new pattern. I don't need to do anything for what I've been attached to. All I need to do is just focus on my new patterns and my new frequency, and you just become a new person, and you no longer have any of that old attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
100%.
And so if we want to resonate at love and 400 hertz frequency, and peace, which is up to like 700 hertz frequency, and joy, which is like somewhere in the 500s, right? Well, then I want to create patterns that give me joy, create peace, allow me to express love, right? And when I create these patterns mentally or vocally, I want to give intent. Why am I doing this? Ask yourself that question. Why do I do this, and how would I feel if I had already done it? How would I feel if I was already this person that meditates for 3 hours a day every day, and I had been doing it for 10 years? And I sit there with a silent mind, and I imagine me already in that position. And what happens is a sensation, a vibration, a feeling comes up that resonates at what that would be like if I had already achieved it. And so every day when I do that and I feel that vibrational frequency, I start to understand what it feels like to be that being, and while feeling it, I am being that being, right? And so that's kind of how we begin to create new patterns that are higher vibrational frequency, right? Some of the other things I love to do in creating my new earth, right? is when I get to my end of my day, really any part of the day. I like to do it in the shower. I shower with the lights off, my eyes closed, right? And in my head, my body and myself and my senses and all of me is in a world where I am seeing interplanetary civilizations. I'm seeing worlds, cities larger than our continents floating in our atmospheres. I see a thriving world of everybody having everything that they need in every moment, being able to build when they want to build, buy when they want to buy, provide food for whoever they want to provide food for. I see these things. I imagine us jumping around and having, because I mean, think of it. Think if we had free energy, right? And then we have AI technology and robotics to do all the work. We don't have to work anymore because we have
where the world's going.
We have everything that we need. But there's multiple timelines, right? You got one timeline where like, okay, hey, robots are looking kind of creepy. Like they might take over and kill us and throw us in slave camps, and they're trying to separate the classes to where only the rich and the wealthy, right? But then there's also simultaneously an organic artificial intelligence that is in service to humanity, and humanity is providing the technology and the information to be able to have this free energy technology. And so when we look, first off, you should just turn the TV off completely. Just don't even tune in, right? If you don't tune into their frequency, you're not absorbing it. And then you have more time just to project and emit your frequency, right? And so no more news channels. Stay off, any of the crazy politics. It doesn't matter. All that shit's going to change anyways. When we arrive at New Earth, which we already have, right? And that's important to say out loud. I am here and now in New Earth. I am love. I am peace. I am abundant. I am full, I am whole, and I am balanced. All is well within me, and all is balanced outside of me, right? And there's no information to the contrary at all. And every time someone comes along and says, yeah, but you see this? Be like, you may see that, and the world and illusion may be presenting that to you, but that's not what I see, right? And some people have a hard time with that. But give time to create in your mind and embody these feelings and sensations of what would it be like if we were already on a planet with free energy, the monetary system was at will, and we had organic AI intelligence that supported human life and did all the hard work for us. And it would allow us to then just become fully into our creatorship and create new planets and create new cities and create new experiences, to travel into other planetary spheres and help them evolve just like our angelic beings and our extraterrestrial families and the Arcturians and the Andromedans and the Syrians and all the different entities that are here now. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not here. One of the things I thought was really cool, someone told me a long time ago, there are stadium fulls of beings, of family, of lineage, here and now, rooting and cheering us on like we just ran down and scored the fucking winning touchdown.
Hell yeah.
And so if you ever think that you're alone, just know that you're not, and that there are stadium fulls of people here loving on you, supporting you, and here with you through this creation that we're performing, as a collective.
That's awesome, man. It's really cool to think about too, just to have anybody in there cheering for you. Yep, man. That's about all the time we got for today. I actually really want to start this one earlier next time and really have a part 2 to this one.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a part 2. There's lots of avenues we can go into on this.
Yeah, I know. We're due for a good long-winded one too,
Yes, sir.
But, guys, we're going to do a part 2 to this one probably here in a couple days. This is the Diesel Daddies podcast, and we are out.
Peace and love.
Bye-bye.